loving Rochester. I hope you're having a great day again. Thank you for joining me for another day of Karen's Corner. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. In the beginning of this series, I started talking about how I was going to read more books this year. It's one of my goals for the year, and recently I have been reading a bunch of books. One that I want to go over today is Playing the Matrix. This is a book by Mike Dooley. I personally had never heard of him before. I did watch The Secret. He was in that, but there was a lot of people who I hadn't heard of before in The Secret. I had always been a huge Wayne Dyer fan, so I knew Wayne Dyer, and I'm into Abraham Hicks. I listen to Deepak Chopra. I am exposed to a bunch of different spiritual guru types, but I hadn't heard of him, and apparently he's been traveling around the country for a while now, or the world, speaking about the law of attraction and living in this matrix that we live in. I do believe in a lot of things that he says. It's a lot of stuff that I have heard from other sources, but the matrix, everything that we see is an illusion. Maybe it's not exactly like the movie that you see, The Matrix, where you can just, think of something and poof, it's there. But I do believe that there are, our brains are capable of doing so much more than we even know about. The percentage of our brain that we use is so minimal compared to what, I'm sure there's so many other things that we could be doing that we just have no clue. So overall, I found his book okay. I don't want to bad talk it. I'm not going to bad talk it, but I found it a little difficult to read. It didn't have an easy flow for me. For example, like Wayne Dyer's books, they just flow. It's so easy to read, and you're not like, what is he trying to say? But with him, I found his words in his paragraphs just, I don't know, parts of it I was just like, it was really hard for me to want to keep reading it, but I really wanted to read it because I wanted to see what he had to say, but I found it slightly challenging. And, I'm not one to be challenged too much, but I do believe in this matrix world that we live in. He's saying that this world is an illusion. Everything that we see is not really real. And, yes, we're here, but we are spiritual beings living in a human body, having a human experience. But really, we're of spiritual nature. And here we are, and, our bodies are changing all the time. We're aging, so we're constantly changing and morphing into something else every day. Every day our cells are changing. Every day, the things around us are changing, and it talks about that what we focus on and what we think about, the law of attraction, is what we get. And you have to know, like, to improve your life, you really have to know what you want. And I totally agree with that. I think that is true. You can't have resistance to it, absolutely. And he says that you can't just expect something to happen. You have to make moves to get those things to happen. You have to, move forward to start living the life that you want to live. If you don't, you're never going to get there. Absolutely agree with that. He gives all kinds of charts in here as to how you should, like the process that you should go into to make your, what you want a reality. So, it's funny how we think about, what we think about becomes our reality. I remember back when I was diagnosed with my illnesses that I was diagnosed with, and people who believed in the law of attraction would tell me, well, Karen, you did this to yourself. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would I ever want to make myself sick? Why would I do this to myself? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and you're insane, basically. Like, go away from me. I don't want to talk to you anymore. But the more I realized and the more I read and learned about the law of attraction is, whatever we're thinking about, becomes our reality. And when I first started having, fibromyalgia pain, I could not get that pain out of my mind. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. I focused on it. I focused on it so much to the point where it crippled me. It literally crippled me for years. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad, but I couldn't, and it's like a snowball effect. Once you start thinking about these negative things or the pain or whatever it is you're thinking about over and over again, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you're just in more pain and more pain and more pain, and you're more and more miserable. And the way that I got out of it, I started listening to Abraham Hicks. And again, it's something that if you are not open-minded to it, and if you haven't heard of it before, and if you don't believe in it, it's going to be a little challenging to hear it and really believe what they're saying to you. But I know for a fact now in my life, it's very true. So I would listen to these recordings, and I would hear people ask questions, and then Abraham talks. And it's Esther Hicks is who she channels Abraham. And whatever she would say, I would think about, and at first I was very like, that's not true, that's not true. But then the more I thought about it, oh my God, what they are saying is absolutely true. And this is what I'm doing, and this is why I'm getting what I'm getting, because I am focusing on the negative things. So the way that I stopped having my pain issues and all my health issues was I stopped focusing on it. I found other things to think about. I found other ways to get away from it. And two, I said before, I was on pain medication, a lot of pain medication, and chronic pain medication. Opioids are not good for you. They make you have more pain. They're only for short-term use. So if you are using opiates and you've been using them for years, please go to your doctor and see how you can get off them, because I'm telling you, you will have less pain. It was amazing to me that this was true, because I couldn't believe, why would doctors prescribe this to me if it's making me worse? I didn't understand that. And there are things that, in life we don't understand. Why would somebody do these things if it's only going to bring negative things? So, and back to his book, we can create whatever life we want. We just have to believe that we can do it. There are so many people who never went to college and were successful. It's amazing to me. Bob Proctor did not go to college. I think he said he went to not much high school either. So look at him. He's doing wonderfully successful. There's so many people out there who haven't had a full education that other people do. And yet you look at the people who have gone to college. I was amazed, when I started working in the banking industry back when I was 23, that there were people who were coming into the bank who had graduated college, and they're being, secretaries. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm sorry, if I'm going to college and spending all my money, I don't want to be a secretary. I don't want to be a receptionist. I want to be something else. I want more. I've always wanted more. I've always believed I could be more, and I got more because of that belief and that desire for me to be more. So I find it fascinating that some people put these limitations on what they can do and what they can achieve. No, we shouldn't put limitations on us. We are all capable of so much more than even we're probably doing at this moment. Even, people who are super successful, they probably can be doing so much more. We all have this capability to be wonderful, amazing people. The universe has ample opportunities for all of us to be wonderful and amazing and to bring better things into this life. We just have to pay attention. So back to his book review. I found that the first half of it wasn't really, it was a lot of stuff that I'd heard before from other people. So it wasn't something that I found super useful, but maybe you would, especially if you're not familiar with this very much. And one thing that he talks about and that others talk about, and again, it's not the destination that's important. It's the journey that we're on to get to the destination. Because let me tell you, once you get to that destination, you're going to want another destination. You're going to want a new goal, have a new desire, and you're going to want more. We always want more. We always want to better ourselves. We always want to be the best that we can be, and we'll be bored if we don't do it. So just remember, it's the journey. Enjoy each day, be in the moment, and experience what you're truly experiencing, and then your life will be better. So the one thing I did like that he put in here is he kind of mapped out how his life went and what he wanted and how he manifested what he wanted in his life. So I found that useful. And, actually a lot of what he wants to do is what I want to do and be in my life. So I found that very interesting and useful to me, and I think it would be useful to you. Knowing what you really want is the most important thing, because if we don't know what we want, then how are we going to get there? You'll just be spinning in a circle, and you won't ever achieve anything if you don't have a goal in mind that you want. And you have to really see it, feel it, and think, how is this going to feel? What am I going to be doing in this goal? And I think that's great. What is your highest priority areas for change or transformation today? Ask yourself this incredibly simple question. It's much easier to answer than having to declare to the world, this is who I will be when I grow up. Immediately, instinctively, we know our highest priorities for change are when generally stated. That's another thing. He's be very general about. We can't want to manifest something specific, like super specific, as far as I want to manifest, this particular person to be my husband. They have to be a willing component in order to achieve that. So it's really not good to put specifics on that. Yes, you can think, I want a loving, amazing, wonderful guy, and don't be held down to he's got to have brown hair, he's got to be 6'4", or he's got to have this job, or come from this family, or he has to play this sport. None of those things are really important. What's most important is you want a successful relationship with somebody who loves you and who is good to you. That is what's most important, and someone who you're happy with. So, yes, want that relationship. Yes, make that a goal. Yes, getting married, whatever that may be, but don't put it on a specific person or look or, anything like that. Then he does talk about getting into details, even though, for our main goal to achieve what we want, don't focus on those details, but it is okay to think about what you really do want, but don't hold it, so close and important to you. Don't be attached to it. Have an open, he's putting it into like it's a GPS system. Set the precise destination and then put the car in gear and go. So that's what he says. He's like, set your general destination, get into the juicy details, that's your directions, and then take action and go. And then he's also saying that, doing something is better than doing nothing. You're going to stay stuck. Let's say you want to be, I don't know, the president of a club you belong to. But if you don't go out there and let people know you want to be that president, and if you don't go after that office, how are you going to get it? People aren't going to probably go, I want so-and-so to be the president. That could happen, but more likely not. So he says, it was a sucky path that promised nothing, yet it was better than doing nothing. So even if you don't know where to go, think about, well, what could I be doing? Maybe this would be a little bit better. One thing I do like he goes into quite frequently is don't do anything that's going to jeopardize you having a home over your head and, food to eat and, a job if that's what you need. If you need that income, don't do anything to jeopardize your job. So he is wise to advise that, because sometimes people will go out and do things and unfortunately, something bad happens and then they want to blame you. So I think that's a good that he did that. Even, it says consider the sucky paths, because sometimes the suckier paths are better than doing nothing. And he talks about when bad things happen, it's really in the eye of the beholder. Maybe it's not as bad as we think, and there's actually a better option that comes along. So that's something to always put in the back of your mind when something bad happens. Most likely another door is going to open, and we're going to be able to move on to better things. So expedited delivery guidelines he gives is 1 time a day is all that's necessary to focus on what you want and to think about what you want to manifest. No longer than 5 or 10 minutes when you are visualizing what you want. Ritualize it. Make a daily routine of visualization. And then imagine every conceivable detail. Don't be attached to them, but imagine them. Feel it. Feel how those details feel. That is the best way to get to where you want to go. Script it in advance. How are you going to talk? How are you going to walk? What are you going to wear? Put yourself in the picture. Imagine yourself inside each image. Dwell from the end result to the beginning. And again, it goes back to the GPS. We can't get to where we want to go if we don't know where we're going. So know your end result and then kind of work backwards to think, okay, what do I need to do to get to there? How's this going to feel? What's going to happen? And, it's like writing your own script of your life. You have the ability to write your story. You have the ability to write who you're going to be, what you want to do. I did like at the end, he's got a bunch of things that you could do to help get to your end result faster. Writing a blueprint. I found the end of the book better than the beginning of the book. I think he had more information in the end of the book, and it kind of flowed a little bit better. It was easier to, not that I couldn't grasp what he was saying, but I just didn't like the way he was writing it. But overall, I think what he has to say is a lot of good stuff. It's a good book. I think he looks at it maybe a little bit differently than some of the others, or he expresses it definitely differently. So, I heard it was a good book to read, and I would say overall I would recommend it because I do believe that he does have a little bit of maybe a better map than others give you to get to your end result. So I hope you enjoyed this. This again was on Playing the Matrix by Mike Dooley. He is an inspirational guru that travels around the world to speak about the law of attraction and living in the matrix. This is Karen Lambert with Loving Rochester and Karen's Corner. I hope you have an amazing day. Remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell. Leave me, write to me, please. I'd love to hear your comments. Write down. I'll respond to you. And I look forward to hearing from you again. And thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.